Welcome to our pilgrimage of hope. My name is Dominique Heffes-Doon, and it gives me great joy to journey with you during this holy and, dare I say it, hopeful Jubilee year. Today in our studio, we are going to explore the wonderful essence of Marian devotion, especially around our sacred sites available in Trinidad and Tobago. Joining me today is Father Martin Sirju, team lead of this year of our wonderful Jubilee, and Mrs. Diane Bertrand. And Diane, please excuse me, I want to get your title correct. Diane Bertrand, President of the Shrine Committee of Our Lady of Monserat in Tortuga.
Absolutely.
Welcome to you both. I am very excited to have this conversation. As many Catholics, we venerate and honor the power of the Virgin Mary. And she is so present with us in these times, especially during the Holy Jubilee year. So welcome to you both. You know, Father, I'd like to start with you if possible. You've had so much experience with the Mother, with Mary, especially in La Divina Pastora.
Yes.
You know, it's one of the sacred sites we have, but what's interesting about La Divina Pastora is the pilgrimage is throughout. And please tell us a little bit more about this wonderful site we have to share.
Right, so La Divina Pastora in Siparia is the Marian shrine of the South, if you want to call it that, and it has been so since the 1850s. And so it's a lot of lively devotion there. Interestingly, the statue can be dated back to about the 1750s, but historically there are not many records. One cannot trace exactly when the statue arrived at La Divina Pastora and how exactly it came. There are theories and there are varying theories. But what is clear is that the popularity of La Divina Pastora emerged when the Hindus started visiting in the 1850s. And Dr. Gerald Boodoo, who teaches theology in the US, he had said that there was a time when the British, after they took over from the Spanish, the British withdrew the subsidy that was given to La Divina Pastora Parish. And therefore, it was going through an economic doldrum. And at the same time, the Hindu community arrived and started visiting. So to some extent, it rescued the parish from economic collapse. And since then, there has been that sort of hybrid, that the two of them are inextricably linked. The Catholic devotion to La Divina Pastora and also the Hindu devotion to the Mother or the Saint or Siparimai, as she is called by the Hindus. And since then, it's a place marked by pilgrimage because people would come from Port of Spain because the Indians settled, first of all, in Port of Spain, which is why we have many street names in St. James, for instance. So they settled there, and then they would head down to Siparia, particularly for Good Friday, and make that pilgrimage, you know, sometimes initially walking, and then when the train was set in motion, they were able to make that pilgrimage by train. And so one of the streets in Siparia is called Railway Road to remind us of the train. There stands a steel pan outfit there right now. And the people would come and make their devotion there. And so it was a vibrant place of interreligious activity centered on La Divina Pastora. How exactly they interpreted her, again, that is subject to debate. But I think generally they probably associated the Mother of Jesus with one of their village deities, and it's hard to say which one. And they continued coming. And I think the main reason for continuing to go there is because they got their prayers answered. You see, conversion was not the primary aim, and it has remained like that till today. There have been some conversions, but by and large, not many. And the whole spirituality of going down there is mothers help us, and this is a mother. She's our mother too. Yes, she's mother of the Catholics, but we claim her as our own as well. And as mother, she will help us. And I would see that in the letter because it was a little, there was a tradition in Siparia. So you have the steel vault where people put their financial offerings, but they also put letters. So there was a pious tradition that only the parish priest would read the letters. So every time the collection is counted, they put aside the letters for me, and I read the letters. So that's how I know they call her. Well, the Catholics will say Our Lady or Dear Mother of Jesus or something like that. But the Hindus would say Dear Mai, or they will write Dear Mai, but sometimes in talking to me, they will say the saint. And they really approach her as a mother figure who is open and welcoming and friendly towards their requests.
And I love that you've brought in that idea of the universality of the mother.
Yes.
Because she is everybody's mother, fundamentally.
I also want to add, because when I went there, I thought that the devotion was mixed mainly with Hindus and Catholics. But while I was there, I saw Muslims, I saw Orisha, I saw spiritual Baptists, but I was surprised to find out, because this I did not see, because it does not exist anymore. But some decades ago, there was a vibrant Chinese community that would also go down at feast day time and so on to honor La Divina Pastora. So it was really a mix of cultures and religions that obtained up till the present.
That's incredible to me. And it really speaks to the beauty of, again, we're Catholic, which means universal. So the interconnectedness of everything and the humanity in that, I love that. And that's the beauty of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, yes.
Our diversity and our willingness to embrace everything.
I would like to mention here there's a Japanese professor who has studied La Divina Pastora for about 16 years, Professor Teruyuki Tsuji. He lectured for a short while at UE, but he really lectures now at a university in Japan. And he made mention of the fact of La Divina Pastora being a microcosm of Trinidad. So how Trinidad is, how we are as a people, and we mix and we lime and we in households of different religions and so on. That Professor Suji said Siparia is like an intense example, a manifestation of the soul of Trinidad and Tobago. So I want to acknowledge his very copious research in that area.
I think that's incredible, and I think if that's not a stimulus for the Catholic community, especially this year, to go and do that pilgrimage, please do. Correct. And off air, sorry to break the fourth wall a little bit, but Diane and I were speaking about how we should have this pilgrimage, and of course, Tortuga, Our Lady of Monserat. I mean, that is one of the most spectacular churches we have in Trinidad and Tobago, and I know it's so dear to you. Please tell us more.
Well, Our Lady of Monserat is in the Central Range, and Father is very correct. Several years ago, before the Shrine Committee was set up, nobody knew about it being a shrine and being in Central, because the two shrines that Trinidadians knew about, especially Catholic Trinidadians, was Fatima in Laventille and, of course, La Divina Pastora. So it's a hidden gem, and it has been a secret for a long time. But it is the second, Our Lady of Monserat, the icon, is the second oldest, of course, after La Divina Pastora. And she was brought by Capuchin missionaries to Trinidad and Tobago in the mid-1800s. The parish priest, Marie-Jules Dupuy, Abbe Marie-Jules Dupuy, was a Capuchin missionary out of Catalonia, Spain. And he came and he brought with him a Spanish doll, because of course in that day they didn't have the ability to reproduce the exact image of the icon in Catalonia, Spain. So she was brought and placed in Tortuga, and of course, all of the people in the area, all of the Spanish cocoa estate and French cocoa estate owners and the villagers love her. So like Father said, in Tortuga it's a little different in that they don't come to the church like in La Divina. However, we go out in procession every year, sometimes two or three times depending on what functions we're having, what Marian functions, but every year at Harvest Day, which is her birthday, 8th of September. And the villagers all come out. They all come into their porches and they stand. And this is a very mixed Pentecostals, Muslims, Hindus. They decorate their fences. We give them balloons and streamers. They all decorate their fences along the route. And they all then come out and respectfully stand as she goes. So she passes down the hill and goes to the rum shop on the end. All the men in the rum shop come out, and they too stand in respect.
Yeah.
And then we turn around and come back. And when we're going back up the hill, they are all still there waiting for her, with balloons on their gates and fences, streamers, and so. And she is very, very much integrated into our community.
This actually is stimulating a lot of hope in me right now, which is really the purpose of this year.
Yes.
Because what it says to me is the need for the mother's love.
Correct.
And that touches everybody. And, you know, it's interesting that 6 of our sacred sites this year are devoted to Mary.
Absolutely.
So, Father, as team lead of the Jubilee Committee, can you tell us a bit more of the sacred sites and the Marian shrines we have?
Well, that's a bit ironic in the sense that these sites were not chosen. We did not initially think of Marian sites. We were thinking geographically, how can we spread the sacred sites so that it will be available, they will be available for people in different parts of Trinidad. So South is a large vicariate, probably the largest. And because of that, we felt that there should be 2 places so that people from deep southwest can go to Sparia, which already, as Diane says, has a history, and San Fernando. And then when we came to Central, we thought of Tortuga. And when we came to Port of Spain, well, the Mother Church has to count. And then, of course, we felt that Diego Martin is the densest part of the Northwest in terms of Catholic population. But if we had put a site there, it wouldn't be much of a pilgrimage. So that's why we put it in Maraval. And then, of course, we felt we must have something in the Central Vicariate.
Sure.
Initially, we thought of Tunapuna, but then it moved to Fatima in Kirep. And then we have St. Francis of Assisi in Grandy, and we have St. Joseph in Scarborough. So Our Lady did her own thing behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, whatever title is Maria Spes, she's a Lady of Hope, you know,
Yes.
and so she did her own little thing behind the scenes to ensure that people came to her so that she can lead us to Jesus.
Absolutely.
And there's something so beautiful in that, because that is the point of doing these pilgrimages, to come to a place of healing and transformation. And I'm going to put this question to you both. What have you seen with regards to people having those experiences of transformation, of spiritual peace and renewal at these sites? Have you noticed anything? Because I have seen these maxi taxis coming in droves, and people are excited to be together as community. They're wearing their matching jerseys, and they're going as parishes, and it's bringing people together. But then, deeper than that, when they get to these spaces, they're getting that connection.
Absolutely.
They're getting that healing. What have you noticed?
Yeah, so I of course, I can't speak about Sipare because I'm no longer there. I left there 9 years ago. I was there for 9 years, and I've left for 9 years now. But I can talk for the cathedral. So one of the attractions there, I think people like the whole decor ambience of the sanctuary. There is something that pulls you in.
Yeah.
So many people just sit or kneel and pray, and they connect with the Lord and whatever is in their hearts. These are rough times economically for many people.
Yes.
And the fact that they have made the pilgrimage to Port of Spain and have made that sacrifice, I think that in itself says something, you know, hope in their heart must cause them to arrive there. The whole experience of pilgrimage, of course, is not simply a physical experience or geographical experience. Something happens along the way as you leave where you have come from to arrive at your destination. And that whole thing about pilgrimage is also important in the life of Mary, because Jesus would have picked up his practice of going to the temple in Jerusalem for Passover from his parents. His mother and father would have taken him there and so on. People also make a sidestep to the grotto of Our Lady, and they always make devotion there as well. They kneel and pray. We don't have much space there, so they stand. And also the third thing that is done is they ask to see the crypt of Archbishop Pantin. Now that was difficult to access. And needless to say, Archbishop Pantin had a tremendous devotion to the Mother of Jesus. So like going to see him is like going to see a Son of Mary. And we made some modifications recently because on the southern side of the cathedral, you have some low walls that prevented you from walking freely to visit the crypt. So people would have to go on the road, which is very, very busy. So we have cut off parts of the low wall. So if people want to visit the crypt, they can just walk on the side of the cathedral safely, away from the road, and enter from the eastern end at a large steel door, and they can visit the crypt. Sometimes they have to do it in smaller groups because the place is not large enough. So some will go and leave, others will come. But we have seen that as well. Many people asking to visit the crypt of Archbishop Pantin. And there is a mixture of, there is praise, there is a praying of the rosary, but there is also silence. And Pope Leo the 14th recently made some remarks concerning the liturgy, to remember that the liturgy must convey, first and foremost, our encounter of God through Jesus Christ. And so the periods of silence that people observe and so on, I think that also, that whole prayer, that making the journey and so on, reflecting on Scripture, encourages people to think of hope in these times.
And I really want to re-emphasize that point, that it's those moments of silence that we have the encounter. That's what all of this is about, to bring people closer to Jesus Christ.
Right.
And so beautifully said, Father.
Because on many occasions when they come, they ask for the Blessed Sacrament to be exposed, and so we expose the Blessed Sacrament, and so it's a time of silent prayer and meditation and so on.
Powerful, thank you. And Diane, tell me, I mean, Tortuga is beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, if you have not gone, please go.
Please,
Yes,
yes.
Please go.
It's
Tell us a bit
beautiful,
more.
the restoration.
Well, Tortuga is on the brow of a hill. Our Lady of Monserat is on the brow of a hill. And we like to think that just as Our Lady hurried across the hill country to visit Elizabeth, she hurried from Catalonia, Spain, across the hill country to us, because she came to live with us, not only for 3 months, but forever. So we believe that when people follow her across the hill country and they come, they have a powerful encounter with her. And the whole place, the shrine and the surroundings, very peaceful. You have a beautiful view of the Gulf of Paria, as far as south as La Brea, when you stand under the mango tree, as far north as down the islands in the northwest, and across the Gulf of Paria, you see Venezuela on a clear day. And in the shrine, on the back steps, on a clear day, no Sahara dust, you see Mount St. Benedict.
Wow.
So it's really a spectacular, almost, very panoramic.
Vista.
And
Yeah.
there are times when it looks like a Casablanca painting, It's so untouched. The rainforest is so untouched. It's really beautiful. But the thing about it is, as soon as you come into Our Lady of Monserat, I tell visitors, it's as though she just takes her mantle and she wraps them in. So we have people coming in, and as they cross the threshold, they begin to cry. They are overcome with emotion. They feel that they are in this wonderful sacred space. Many people go into her side chapel and they say in silence, a lot of crying, a lot of writing. We've put out petition for people to write, and every first Saturday, Father offers the petitions, and then they are burnt. So a lot of people like to come and know that they've left their petitions at Our Lady's feet for her to intercede for them over the month. And it's extremely powerful. Now, what I have noticed is that people go in and they have all of these wonderful experiences, and then they come out and they have no vocabulary to describe what they've experienced because it has been so overwhelming and deeply moving, you know. So a couple said to me, I think this place not feeling like if it in Trinidad, I think it feeling like if it is in foreign. So I said to them, I don't think that's what you mean. I think that when you come here and you enter the shrine, you enter into the heavenly realm. You have left Trinidad and Tobago, and you are in heaven with Jesus and Mary and Joseph and all of the saints.
I love that.
So that is the language that you need. It's not that it is foreign like in the US. You are in a really deeply spiritual place, an otherworldly space. And the husband said, yes, that is it, that's better. I will go and tell my children, So we've had those kinds of experiences. A lot of schools have come, children, teachers have come, the Catholic teachers, the Central Vicariate brought all of the Catholic teachers from all the Catholic schools. They're coming from, all of the schools, and also the school next door, which is a non-Catholic school. It's a government school, but the children come, they have them participate in it. So I believe that Father is right in saying that Our Lady is a mother of hope, and she, in her most beautiful, loving, motherly way, just has been in our church. Like our church is a wooden church. It has a sense of nostalgia. Most of us grew up in wooden houses. And it's the only wooden church in Trinidad and Tobago. So when you enter it, it has this kind of feel as though you've reached home and you almost want to shout, Mommy, what did you cook? It's that kind of place where you just feel right. I'm here.
Sorry, Scott, and again, we were speaking about this previously. For a very small, simple church, it is stunningly beautiful. It is elegant, and because of its simplicity, and it's almost like a hark back to a Caribbean of the old. It has a deep humility to it. It's such an elegant space.
Yes, it is.
And you've done such a wonderful job in describing it, yet I feel as though people have to experience it.
Yes, absolutely. Because
totally
we're only 5
peaceful.
months along.
Yes.
And although thousands have come, there are thousands to go. And we are saying, Trini's last minute. November they will be, But every season is wonderful. We have things coming up, our rededication mass in August.
Lovely.
We have our harvest in September. And the month of October, Rosary, and of course the Festival of Hope coming. So it is just so many things that you can enter in and participate.
And experience that hope, that peace that these sites are meant to inspire in each of us. Now, prior to going to sites, for those who haven't been able to go as yet, Father, how can one prepare themselves to visit these sites?
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I think to go slightly beyond what we are talking about, I think that so many of our Catholics just come to Mass, but Mass is something you have to prepare for.
Yes.
And I think if people prepare for Mass, they will get more out of the Mass. That's why we say that the Mass is about participation as well, full, conscious, active participation. And it applies to pilgrimage as well. And some people prepare for it in advance, They may do a novena in preparation for it. Some people might fast and so on as they prepare for this event. It's also a way of connecting with families. And that's one thing I learned at La Divina Pastora, that people, by and large, came as families, you know, as once they could, and you would see the older members of the family showing the children what to do and how to do it.
Correct.
And I think in our Catholic fabric that has been lost to some extent. That we come to Mass, but often we don't know what to do because it has not been passed on. And I would see them taking the young child and say, okay, you do it like that, and so on, when they are honoring the Mother of Jesus in their own style, their own religious manner. But we assume those things as well, you know, because tradition means to pass on.
That's right.
And so I think it's important to pass on both the preparation for the pilgrimage and also to involve the family members in pilgrimage as well as the wider parish. Well, that is done. And pilgrimages are a time when we do see families come. And one of the wonderful things we have seen at the cathedral is often we get the bigger pilgrimages, medium-sized ones, some big ones, but we also get some family pilgrimages, so extended family pilgrimages. So I think it's a way also, it gives us the opportunity to renew family life, the bonds of family life, and that in itself is a hope. And to remember also that pilgrimage is an interior journey as well, and to always remember the two, because there is a danger to our faith, and one of the dangers to our faith is we can mix up ritual and ritualism. Ritualism is hard and sclerotic. It doesn't generate life. But ritual that you prepare and you enter into, the whole ritual of a pilgrimage and what you do when you get there can definitely be spiritually nourishing at a time when we need to be nourished by the Holy Spirit as we head towards Pentecost.
That is a powerful point to end on. Thank you so much, Father. And Father Sirju, Diane, thank you so much. This was beautiful. And please, we encourage you to take that journey internally and externally to our 8 sacred sites, but especially those, if you feel like you need the loving mother, those that support the Marian devotion. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and join us next time as we journey towards our pilgrimage of hope. Thank you.
If you can raise your eyes to the horizons of renewal and restoration, if you can open your ears to the voice of the Beloved, who calls you to hope and not despair, if you can reach out and forgive, heal and restore in spite of the hurt and darkness, then you will realize a jubilee of hope and restoration for our world. And you would have made a journey of hope. Come, join us in this pilgrimage of hope as it becomes a reality in the life of the Church. And truly, it will be a jubilee to celebrate.